Hey everyone, OT Life Hacker here. Let's get into how to manage eczema for sleep. So, sleep time is a really important time for us to just relax and rejuvenate ourselves, re-energize ourselves for the next day. But the quality of sleep and the ability to fall asleep, stay asleep, can be affected by many factors, including eczema. And so, for those of you who experience eczema, I'm sorry for all the things you have to go through with dealing with it, because I can relate that it can be very tough to deal with. Right now, you see just very mild. It's in recovery, extremely mild eczema for me. It usually gets much worse than that. But the weather here where I live has been helping me significantly. Previously, I lived in the desert, and that was extremely difficult to manage with sleep in the desert. But with a bunch of different techniques that I tried for myself, it's gotten better. It's still not optimal, but that is what inspired me to go into YouTube to share with others things that I found have been working for me, have been helping me to improve my sleep, especially with eczema. And I'd love to hear what you guys do, because again, that's why I had gone into doing this, so that I can share what works for me, because this can give ideas to others. And of course, it may not work for everyone, but it may be worthwhile to try it over having to go through the frustrations of dealing with the same thing over and over and not having answers or different ideas, feeling that you're at a rut, because that's a really tough place to be in. I can very much relate. And so having different ideas is always something that can keep us going and coping with eczema, and proactive to work to manage it. So please, in the comments below, share what you do for managing your eczema, what works for you, what hasn't worked for you. That can be a good of what to do and what not to do for others. And then, now, for me, so nighttime sleep. There are times where the idea of just going to sleep would be really tough, because I think, oh man, it's gonna be so hard to sleep. I know I'm gonna be itching at night. I already feel very itchy after I take my shower. Shortly after, I already feel the itchiness coming at night. And so I would be afraid to go to sleep. And that in itself, the fear of sleeping, is already almost like the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you can't sleep, well, bye-bye the idea of sleeping. So that's one thing. Cognitive behavioral techniques and other sleep strategies, like well, we'll talk about that in future videos too, for sleep. And also, I have a sleep video available for you to check out, and that is some of my sleep routines. And as we go later into the future, I will add more, so please do subscribe if you want to know more content for sleeping, as well as any other content related to health and well-being, because in occupational therapy we work with those we work in those realms through activities. And then also, want to learn more about OT? Subscribe, and then you'll get to see more videos. So, now going back to sleep, for me, I will find my sleep. Let me enact this for you in a way. Okay. So when I'm lying down and trying to sleep, I wake up, or I can't even sleep because I'd be lying there, and with all my blankets on top, I'd start sweating, especially in the middle of the night, So if I do eventually fall asleep, if I do eventually fall asleep and overcome that itchiness, well, I wake up in the middle of the night scratching because I'm very itchy and sweaty. And so oftentimes the sweat will come from having the pillow here. And so what I would do, especially in the areas that I do have a lot of like more prone to, like under the knees, I will have the pillow a little more moved so that it will be breathable under my knee. And then also for the arms, so I'm gonna just show you here. So for the arms, my eczema is usually along here and along here, especially along here. You can barely see it, but there's some scars that were left behind. And so oftentimes it would be because there's sweat over here. And so at night, I'd also change my positions, and I would have my arms elevated up or elevated in different ways. But you know, the main thing that helps me is temperature. So unfortunately, and it's also like a double whammy, because when you have the AC on, when you have the heater on to make the temperature a little less cold, so that you're not totally freezing and have to bundle up and then start sweating your blankets, you dry out more, yes, but unfortunately you have to pick your battles. And for me, temperature, adjusting the temperature to just right temperature so I don't have to have too many blankets is ideal for me, because that way I don't sweat at night and I can sleep more comfortably. Just going into bed at the right temperature feels really nice. Definitely I load up on the Vaseline and the Aquaphor. So I would be applying this, and as you can see, I'll just put a little bit on my hands. So there you go, you can see that. Put a little bit, and I put a little on my lips too, because that dries out. And so sometimes if you see me after I do the, if you see me on film with very shiny lips, it's not, what is it called? Lipstick? I mean, it's not lipstick or lip gloss. There you go, lip gloss. It is Handy Dandy, Aquaphor, or Vaseline. Now keep in mind, when you do put this on, it can get greasy, so that's why the gloves come in very handy, not just for sleeping, but also just every day, so that you prevent your hands from touching everything and greasing it up, which is often a reason why people don't want to use Vaseline or Aquaphor, any like topicals that are greasy, because it can leave everything greasy. So then you wear gloves, and then that also helps to seal in the moisture. But also keep in mind, do not wear it for a very extended period, because you have to monitor that you don't start sweating. If you start sweating, you definitely want to take off your gloves. And then, so like I said, I would change sleep positions. I may even sometimes lie on my side instead of on my back, which I personally don't really like lying on my side, but sometimes that helps to sleep, so I would just lie on my side, or I'd sleep, change it up, and try to have cooler sheets. And so instead of having this blanket underneath, I would have just the sheets. If you can see the sheet, I would have just the sheet, and it feels much cooler for me. And then even for the pillows you can put on probably like silk sheets or something that is much more cooler temperature for you, and may even reduce the likelihood of sweating. So those are things to consider, and many other considerations as well can be made. So now, your turn. What do you do for your eczema? Please comment below, because it'd be very interesting to know what others do to manage your eczema for sleep, especially because that's a doozy. That's what gets a lot of people. And do share this video with others, because raise awareness of eczema. Know you're not alone in your frustrations dealing with eczema, and share with us what you do. Like this video if you do like it, and definitely feel free to leave your comments for how it could be improved. Always here to learn. And subscribe. Thank you all. Okay, I will see you later. Bye bye. Downside to these gloves is they don't turn off the phone, so let me just